It just say 6 most disturbing websites on the internet. Like what? What do you mean by that? You can't go to them lists or something? You finna see though. And then of course you gotta have the little eerie music.
RentAHitman.com is an easily accessible website on the service web that claims to offer hitman services. The website has been functioning since 2005, and despite the disturbing claims made throughout the landing page, it's never been taken down and is still active to this day. Upon entering the site, you'll notice it's structured pretty similarly to any modern website that wants to establish trust and credibility with its viewers.
That bitch say tired of getting bullied. Oh my, bro, niggas getting knocked off, bro. Going to their website.
Which, upon initial inspection,
Dang, bro. They say customers' testimonies. Laura told me I was gonna call my husband cheating with a babysitter, and our relationship was terminated after a free public relations consultation. I'm single again, looking to mingle. Thanks for it. Dang, boy, that's crazy. She got it, man. Go. Oh my god.
Is a little jarring considering what's being offered. According to one of the claims on the site, RentAHitman has a workforce of almost 18,000 US-based field operatives trained to take the life of anyone deemed a nuisance by the requester. One of the sections on the landing page describes the type of situations in which an ordinary person might find themselves in need of a hitman, such as getting bullied at the gym or office or wanting to get rid of an ex-partner. Interestingly, there's also a section with testimonials made by people who allegedly purchased the service and were satisfied with the result. There's even a commercial on the site made with a voiceover by a guy with an Italian accent claiming his name is Guido. If you click on Service Request, you'll be taken to an order form with a caption that reads, "If you are seeking a service request or wish to consult with a field operative, you will first need to submit brief details of your inquiry for our review, and a field operative in your region will contact you at the email address to obtain further details and to schedule your free..."
This is crazy, bro.
Consultation. Additional verification documents may be requested during the process. If you haven't picked up on it by now, the whole site is satire, which is why it hasn't been taken down. It's sprinkled with obvious jokes and commentary that allude to its satirical nature, such as the claim, "We are 100% HIPAA compliant," which is apparently the Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964. The site was created in 2005 by a Bay Area man named Bob Inez while he was taking an IT course. One day during class, he and his friends decided to start a business together and use the name RentAHitman as a play on words for their website traffic and analytics business. Unfortunately, the business never took off, and Bob and his friends left the website unattended for several years. 5 years later, in 2010, he checked the mailbox associated with the website on a whim, and to his shock, he found hundreds of unread messages written by people all over the world with some pretty dark requests. As Bob later told ABC News, one of the messages came from a woman in Canada named Helen, who claimed she wanted 3 of her family members murdered.
God dang. Capping one of her mother, aunt, uncle, and England murdered.
After reaching out to her, Bob quickly realized the request was serious, after which he forwarded the message to law enforcement, leading to Helen's immediate arrest. You might think that a case like that is 1 in a million, but as it turns out, dozens of people have reached out to Bob over the past 15 years with a serious desire to take someone out. Anytime Bob and his crew get a serious request for a hitman, they immediately get the necessary authorities involved to prevent the requester from hurting someone. From 2010 to present day, RentAHitman has helped prevent over 150 legitimate murder attempts. Although many of the messages Bob receives nowadays are obvious hoaxes, about 10% of the requests made by his website visitors have turned into real-life investigations, with many...
Oh, so like the website really like a catch for like people who think they finna hire a hitman? I don't know.
Them resulting in rightful arrests. In 2021, a Michigan woman named Wendy Vine was arrested after making a legitimate request to have her ex-boyfriend murdered. Although she used a pseudonym when she contacted Bob, or Guido as he calls himself on the website, she used her real name when filling in the form, and Bob promptly called the Michigan State Police with her information. After her arrest,
so he really sent people up, bro. He's not a real hitman. He's just acting like that, and then he gonna submit your information to the police. You're done. I bet you just sign me away to the police, bro.
Sentenced to 7 years in prison, which he is still serving to this day.
He's a genius.
For anyone with
just thought
half
of
a
this.
brain, it's pretty obvious that the website was built as a
Dang, bro.
joke. I mean, there have even been news reports on Rent to Hitman making it clear that the website was made for something completely different than hiring a real hitman. Still, people have continued to confuse the website's purpose and have ended up expressing their murderous desires to Bob. Although it's pretty clear that the people who have used the site with a real intention to kill someone aren't very bright, the fact remains that Rent to Hitman has helped prevent some pretty serious crimes from taking place.
That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Running Hitman is just saying. Hidden Answers.
Hidden Answers used to be what you could call a deep web version of Reddit, Quora, or Yahoo Answers. Basically, it was a deep web forum that could only be accessed by using specific browsers where users could ask any questions they wanted without running into the risk of being censored. As Hidden Answers was hosted on an unfiltered, uncensored part of the internet, some of the conversations that took place on the forum were naturally pretty disturbing. Using the Wayback Machine, I was able to find some of these questions. One user asked if anyone could sell him a gun, while another asked for his fellow forum members to share a TNT recipe with him to make a bomb, claiming he wanted to use it to explode a tree or perhaps something bigger. A lot of the questions I found answered bordered on illegal, such as the one coming from a user who wanted to know how to print fake money, while another user asked for the best way to take the life of an annoying neighbor.
Damn.
Some of these questions didn't get a lot of answers, but still, it makes you wonder what the people who did get their questions answered went on to do with that information. In 2023, Hidden Answers was taken down by the owner of the site, who claimed he was tired of Tor being used as a way for petty people to ask stupid, illegal questions instead of as a tool to combat censorship. As of 2024, the site is still down and will probably remain that way for good.
Dang, bro, that's crazy.
Galdrux.com is a strange cult-like website dedicated to educating its users on how to transcend to the next dimension, or something like that. The website's pretty odd and confusing, so you'll have to make your own conclusions about its real purpose. On the landing page, I found a strange image of an eye with spider legs, along with a short paragraph that read, "There is no reality, only chaos. Through chaos, energy becomes will. Through will, truth becomes illusion. Through illusion, matter becomes thought. Thought, we become God. Galdrux shall lead us to chaos." The next page gets a little more disturbing, as it's explained in pretty plain English that Galdrux.com was built as an online hub for cult leaders from all over the world to share resources, gather information, and spread their beliefs. As per the strange text on the page, Galdrux is some sort of multiversal cult looking to take over the world with a new form of spirituality. If anything on the website is to be interpreted as true, the overall goal of the cult is to push the world towards some sort of technological singularity, but that's as much as I could understand. As I scrolled further down on the website, the pages started to get weirder and weirder, with many of the sections featuring random flashing graphics bright enough to possibly cause a seizure. One of the more eerie videos I found on the site featured Mark Zuckerberg's face contorting into strange shapes.
What? What is what they got going on?
Also featured on the site is whatever that noise is you just heard playing the entire time. By clicking on some of the links, you'll be taken to new pages introducing different kinds of deities in the strange cult, and from what I observed, there doesn't really seem to be an end to the site. But other than finding pages upon pages with meaningless information presented in visually distressing formats, strange psychedelic poems, questionable mathematical proofs, and endless puzzles in multiple languages, I couldn't really understand the point of the website. It's possible that Galdrux.com was built as some sort of art project, or that it was really built as a way for cult leaders to connect online. But because there's not a lot of information on Galdrux.com out there, it's hard to know for sure. The most I could find outside of the site were a couple of Reddit posts made by people claiming to be members of the cult, asking their fellow Redditors to join them on Galdrux.com and open their minds to transcendence or something. But that's about it. Since he was 15 years old, John Greenwald Jr. became obsessed with understanding the inner workings of the US government, especially in regard to UFO-related confidential documents held by the CIA and other agencies. Since 1996, John Greenwald has leveraged the Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, to gain access to more than 2 million pages of previously confidential documents. These documents include revealing information on alleged UFO sightings, the JFK assassination, chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons, and top-secret aircraft that the government does not reveal to the general public. Over the past 3 decades, John has taken those millions of pages of previously classified information and housed them in a well-known online archive known as the Black Vault. Upon entering the website, you'll be greeted with a massive repository of all kinds of documents and case files presented in a pretty straightforward and no-nonsense fashion. One of the things that makes the Black Vault stand out is that it doesn't present any of the information contained in official documents as true, and the language used in the case descriptions doesn't give off any conspiracy theory vibes at all. The site simply lays out all the information from the documents that John and his team have acquired from the government in the most objective way possible. All interpretations are left to the discretion of the viewer, which has contributed to the site's unshakable credibility over the years. This straightforward and genuine type of presentation is almost what makes the site disturbing in its own type of way. For example, one of the stories I found talks about a series of alleged UFO photographs taken back in the 60s by a man named Paul Villa, which somehow ended up in the National Archives collection for the Goddard Space Flight Center. Paul Villa was a guy who claimed aliens communicated with him telepathically since he was a kid, and that they once guided him to a location near Peralta, New Mexico where he took pictures of a flying saucer. As per his claims, Paul Villa allegedly saw the flying saucer levitating his truck and interacting with its environment in impossible ways. Although the claims made by Paul Villa and the authenticity of the photographs are questionable at best, the Black Vault never claims that the story is true. Instead, it simply lays out the fact that the photographs somehow ended up in the National Archives collection, and it's clearly stated that the photographs were simply included on the site for reference purposes. One of the other recent stories on the homepage that caught my attention listed all the documented incidents in which the White House dog has bitten a Secret Service agent. As per the official government documents, an incident occurred on June 15, 2023 when an agent was bitten by Commander, the White House dog. Because the agent spilled a lot of blood on the floor of the east wing of the White House due to the dog bite, public tours had to be delayed for about 20 minutes while the cleanup staff took care of the mess. John Greenwald claims there was a video of the incident, but the White House refused to release it after he requested it, leading to an appeal being filed in February 2024. Disturbingly, there have been dozens of pretty severe incidents over the years involving dog bites at the White House. Although it's easy to be skeptical about some of the cases in the Black Vault archives, one thing that John Greenwald has revealed through his research is that UFOs are one of the most highly classified topics for government agencies, including the CIA, FBI, Pentagon, Air Force, Army, Navy.
So basically, he's just exposing the whole government and all that. You know what I'm saying?
NSA, and DIA.
Right.
Thanks to his constant efforts, people from all over the world are able to find revealing information on all kinds of incidents and cases, some of which have been revealed to be eerily disturbing in nature. If you were using the internet around 2006 and had the misfortune of accidentally visiting a website named Goggle.com in an attempt to search for Google.com, you're probably familiar with the infamous virus that destroyed thousands of computers in the early 2000s and became an urban internet legend. Because so much of the information on Goggle.com has been wiped off the face of the internet, researching the history of the website has proved to be pretty challenging. Even the Wayback Machine has Goggle.com blacklisted from being archived on its database, which makes it a little hard to trace its origin. However, there still is enough information out there to shed some light on the rise and fall of Goggle.com, one of the most destructive viruses in early internet.
So basically, you got in typing in, you think you typing in Google, whole time you typing in Goggle, and your whole computer get, it got on doing anything. Oh yeah. I'm glad I ain't had no computer back then. I'd have been mad at hell.
The domain Goggle.com was registered on Valentine's Day 1998. For around 6 years, the website remains pretty much inactive, until in 2004, some sporadic reports of the website containing dangerous malware started to spread online. Interestingly, none of the public website archives out there have any information on Goggle.com existing prior to 2004, and a lot of them have even blocked the domain altogether, making it almost impossible for us to know what the site looked like from 1998 to 2004.
Dang,
But out of all the
possibilities,
possibilities, the most logical one is that Goggle.com started out as a legitimate website in 1998 and was bought out and used as a typo squatting website in 2004. Typo squatting is the practice of buying a domain with a similar name to a well-known website, expecting to receive traffic from people looking for a certain keyword and accidentally misspelling it. In this case, people searching for Google.com who accidentally typed Goggle.com would land on the website. Goggle.com was coded and designed so that as soon as a user landed on it, the user's computer would be flooded with pop-up ads and legitimate-looking Windows warning banners. When the users tried to close the windows, hundreds more would pop up until the computer crashed, permanently damaging the system.
I'd have been so mad.
As you can probably guess, the warning windows were completely fake and were just browser windows that translated a user's click into an OK for installing malware. Basically, if you had the misfortune of visiting Goggle.com, you might as well have said goodbye to your computer. The site was designed to destroy the user's computer by pushing the viewer to inadvertently allow files to be downloaded to their hard drive, and by the time they realized what was going on, it was too late. Similar things happened on dozens of other websites, including MySpace in 2006, where users were shown a banner ad that, if clicked, would flood the user's computer with spyware. One of the things that made Goggle.com so deadly is that it pushed users to accidentally download Spy Sheriff, a malicious software disguised as an antivirus program. Once the user turned off their computer to leave Goggle.com, as soon as they rebooted the system, Spy Sheriff would pop up claiming that there were hundreds of viruses detected on the computer, and many people would inadvertently authorize the malware to wreak havoc on their computer until it rendered the hardware pretty much useless. Pretty often, the user's only option would be to completely wipe the hard drive, and sometimes not even this would be enough to get their computer working again. In 2006, a McAfee commercial used real footage of someone visiting Goggle.com to showcase the dangers of not having virus protection installed on your computer. Although some good did probably come from the commercial, it also incentivized a lot of people to try to get internet attention by recording themselves visiting Goggle.com. By the time this happened though, a lot of the vulnerabilities on most computers had been patched up by Windows, leading many people who visited the site to walk away unscathed and dismiss Goggle.com as an urban legend, but others with less modern operating systems were not so lucky. If the idea that something like this could happen on the internet seems crazy to you, keep in mind that this was back in the Wild West days of the internet, when commercial operating systems weren't nearly as developed as they are today. Over the years, Goggle.com has been acquired by different owners, taken down, turned into a malicious survey website, taken down again, turned into a fake flash download site, and taken down again. Overall, the crazy impact this virus had back in the day shows how far the internet and computers have come over the past 2 decades, and still serves as a reminder to tread carefully online.
I ain't lying, boy. That's going crazy.
Apocalypse Prepping is a deep website dedicated to providing detailed preparational instructions in case of the end of the world for any number of reasons, but more recently its focus has been on artificial intelligence triggering the end of the world. On the landing page, there's a series of paragraphs outlining what the site is for and bringing attention to the site owner's opinion of the severity of the issue. As per the introduction text, the site was made with the intention of showing people how to survive the apocalypse with the bare essentials while spending a maximum of 500 to 2,000 euro. There also includes a pretty ominous warning that reads, "After you have read this chapter, you will come to understand that highly dangerous superhuman AI systems are feasible by 2024 to 2027, and that many individuals and shady corporate entities will gain the power to wield them openly or covertly with a delay of maybe 2 to 4 years. Even just from the landing page, it's pretty clear that whoever made the site takes the idea of the apocalypse pretty seriously, otherwise they probably would have gone through the trouble of building out a website with 9 different incredibly—
Oh god, like, you had to sit there and like, make a link for this and this and this and this. You know what I'm saying? Nah, boy, I wouldn't do all that, man.
detailed pages.
But you can tell your
The
person
next
dedicated,
section, titled
boy.
The Threat, dives into why people should be a lot more worried about AI than they are now, outlining the main scenarios for the short-term future of society after the introduction of artificial intelligence, as well as some of the common fallacies people fall into when it comes to AI, such as judging the future based on the past, assuming linear growth, and herd mentality. Another section named What to Expect basically describes what the world would look like if the apocalypse happened today, and let's just say it's a pretty fatalistic view. Based on this doomsday scenario, the site owner then goes on to describe what an ideal plan would look like to survive the apocalypse, including finding shelter, stockpiling food and water, and surrounding yourself with people you trust. I gotta say, it's pretty interesting to see how much time whoever wrote this
Bro,
put into
what?
designing the perfect plan to survive a scenario that's so unlikely to happen.
Wait, what?
From purifying dirty water, to food rationing, to financial planning, to making poison and using weapons, to wound disinfection techniques, apocalypse prepping seems to have covered pretty much every possible scenario for people looking to get ready for the end of the world on a budget.
God,
There's no
dang.
information to trace the identity of the site owner other than his Proton email address, and maybe the fact that he's probably European based on his choice to include euros as the default currency throughout the site. Because of this, it's impossible to know if apocalypse prepping was made by someone who's actually preparing for the worst and wants to share their knowledge with their visitors, or by someone with way too much free time on their hands.
You got way too
Although,
much free time.
considering the
I'm talking
massive
about
amount of data and
way
research that
too
went
much.
into this, I lean towards the belief that the creator's presenting this seriously, leaving an eerie undertone to the site.
Nah, like, he was for real about that jump. I ain't gonna lie. And like, but that goggle jump, that jump there, ain't gonna lie. I'm glad I ain't tried that because I show probably did that jump too. But hey, I was 3 years old when that happened, so I wasn't gonna be there. But what that little Hitman website, that jump was crazy, bro. So basically, they were catching people who try to hire a hitman to take other people out. Dang, that jump was the setup, boy. Dang, man. See y'all tomorrow, bro.